Are some people born with tails? Hi, it's Calvin Smith here, and welcome to Creation Basics, where our goal is to make God's creation part of your everyday conversation. Today's question is, are some people born with tails? You know, there's a common idea in the evolutionary community that humans have supposed atavistic organs. These are believed to be like old evolutionary throwbacks to our earlier stages of evolution, caused by leftover genetic information within our DNA for some kind of ancestral trait which somehow gets switched on occasionally. It's a similar but different idea than vestigial organs, which we've talked about before. Now, a popular claim today says that sometimes people are born with tails. Even professing Christians like Carl Giberson, a theistic evolutionist who's worked with BioLogos, which is an organization that's primary goal is to convince Christians that evolution's true. He used the argument when he was debating intelligent design proponent Stephen Mayer. Afterwards, Giberson wrote this: "Why does the human genome contain instructions for the production of features we don't use? The scientific explanation is that we inherited these instructions from our tailed ancestors, but the instructions for producing them has been shut off in our genomes, which is why Shallow Hal is the only person most people know who has a tail. Sometimes the ignore these genes messages get lost in fetal development, however, and babies are born with perfectly formed, even functional tails." Apparently, and kind of shockingly from a PhD scientist, he actually showed a picture of a human baby with a tail attached to support his claim. And as it turns out, it was actually a bad piece of Photoshop from Cracked.com. Do you remember reading Mad Magazine when you were younger? And then there was Cracked Magazine growing up? Yeah, it was from Cracked.com, which is the modern online equivalent of that magazine. There's some good science for you. Anyway, of course, atheistic evolutionists like biologist Jerry Coyne make the same claims. In his book, Why Evolution is True, he says, "Rarely, a baby is born with a tail projecting from the base of its spine. The tails vary tremendously. Some contain vertebrae. Fortunately, these awkward protrusions are easily removed by surgeons." So, what some evolutionists are saying is that sometimes human babies are born with real functional tails, supposedly because the genes for these tails are dormant somehow in our DNA, but sometimes get activated. So, what are they talking about? Well, sometimes people are born with bulbous or tubular growths, sometimes on their lower backs, which are medically termed caudal appendages, and they're commonly referred to as human tails. But most people born with these tails have medical challenges like spina bifida, tethered spinal cord, and many other problems. So what are these tails? Well, one of the problems is that the term tail is used more descriptively than scientifically. These growths can appear elsewhere on the body as well. But of course, if someone's born with some kind of tubular growth or similar growth extending from their shoulder or arm, which by the way is a good argument that there's some kind of medical abnormality, not a leftover tail in our DNA, well, it's not usually referred to as a tail because it's in the wrong place. But when someone has one on their back, well, that's often why it's called a tail. You see, real tails, like animals have vertebrae that continue past their rear hips with muscles attached and neural pathways and nerves that activate these muscles to do what tails do. Tails are primarily used to keep their owners balanced when they're walking and running, and of course they swish away insects and they help communicate, like when a dog's wagging its tail at you. Or it can be a decoy, like a lizard that detaches its tail and then runs away. Some animals' tails can grab things if they're prehensile, and they can even help keep you warm. You know, if you're a husky laying in the snow and you in a circle and you cover your nose. So here's a conclusion from a highly qualified and experienced physician and surgeon, Dr. Michael Egner. He has surgical experience with this condition, and he said this, quote, "None of them, and none of the reports in the literature that I know of are actual tails. A tail has vertebrae, a continuation of the coccyx, has developed muscles, nerves, and other soft tissues, etc. None have the structure of a tail, even in rudimentary form, and none of the ones I've operated on were attached to the coccyx in the way that a tail is." So, are some people born with tails? No. Some people are born with caudal appendages, medical abnormalities, sadly, like so many others we see, which are the result of living in a fallen world.
Hey folks, Calvin here. If you've been watching this program for a while now, have been blessed by the content, understand the importance of biblical authority, and have the means, please consider giving a one-time gift or becoming one of our monthly supporters by clicking that link below. And even if you don't, keep watching. Our goal is to equip the average believer to be able to share the gospel more frequently and effectively by making God's creation part of your everyday conversation. Stay blessed.